Permits me at this time to also welcome one of the gladiators of Nigeria's democracy here, the person of Dr. Babagana Kingebe, GCON. I know he's on his way here. Can we just please put a round of applause for him? Thank you for your sacrifice. We also have in our midst the guest speaker of today's meeting, the person of Mr. Samuel Oluwaseun Martins. Please a round of applause for him. Thank you for joining us. We have here honorable members of the House of Representatives. Please a round of applause for them. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight. Special advisors to the President, senior special assistants to the President, directors of the ministries here present, the planning committee members here, the largest constituency of the Federation, the planning committee members of this gathering, the largest constituency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Nigerian youth, members of the fourth estates of the realm, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to recognize individually the members of the House of Representatives are here seated. Please, in the particular order, I have Honorable David in the house. Please, a round of applause for Honorable David. Thank you very much for coming out. We have Honorable Usman Baniye. Please, a round of applause for Honorable Usman. Thank you for coming. We have Honorable Uche Okonkwo in the house. Please, a round of applause for Honorable. Thank you very much for coming. We have Honorable Akala Olaniju. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you very much for coming. We have Honorable Mukhtar Shegaga. You're welcome, Honorable. We also have Honorable Honorable Shei Vegan here in the house. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you very much. I'm actually struggling a bit with the calligraphy of the writer. I will beg for your pardon. We have the Honorable Rotimi Jacob in the house. Please, a round of applause. You're welcome, sir. And we have Honorable Lamir Omar. You're welcome. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The next item on the agenda speaks to thank you very much. Recognition is a constant, and I assure you that as we progress in this meeting this evening, we'll continue to recognize our dignitaries as they pour in. Permit me at this time to set the stage. Honorable Minister, when I was asked to handle this item on the agenda, I thought to myself, what is Nigeria celebrating? June 12th. And what is June 12th all about? Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to commemorate a pivotal day in Nigerians' history. A day that has come to symbolize the resilience and determination of our nation in its pursuit of democracy and justice. June 12th holds a profound significance in Nigerians' democratic journey. A significance deeply intertwined with the legacy of Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, fondly known as MKO Abiola, and the valiant efforts of the National Democratic Coalition of NADECO. June 12, 1993 marks the day when June 12, 1993 marks the day when Nigerians came together in an unprecedented act of unity and hope, casting their votes in what was widely regarded as the fairest and freest election in nation's history. This election saw MKO Abiola, a philanthropist, businessman, and a true patriot, emerge as the presumed winner, capturing the hearts and aspirations of millions of Nigerians who longed for change and good governance. However, the joy and anticipation that greeted the election results were short-lived. The military regime of the time annulled the election, plunging the nation into a period of political turmoil and uncertainty. This unjust annulment not only robbed Nigerians of their democratic choice, but also sets the stage for a fierce struggle for the restoration of democracy. In the face of this grave injustice, MKO Abiola stood firm, declaring himself the rightful president and embarking on a courageous campaign to reclaim his mandate. His unwavering commitment to democracy and the will of the people made him a symbol of resistance and a beacon of hope for all Nigerians. Despite facing imprisonment and ultimately sacrificing his life, Abiola's legacy as a champion of democracy endures, inspiring future generations to continue the fight for justice and equity. Equally significant is the narrative, is the role played by NADECO. Formed in 1994, NADECO was a coalition of pro-democracy activists, politicians, and civil society groups who rallied against the annulment of the June 12th election and the subsequent military dictatorship. NADECO's relentless advocacy, both within Nigeria and in the international community, kept the flame of democracy burning during some of the darkest days in our nation's history. Today, as we reflect on the significance of June 12th, we honor the memory of MKO Abiola and the indomitable spirit of NADECO. Their sacrifices and relentless pursuits of democracy have paved the way for the freedoms we enjoy today. June 12th is not just a date on the calendar, it is a symbol of our collective resolve to uphold democratic values, fight against oppression, and ensure that the voices of the people are always heard and respected. For many years, June 12th was celebrated in various states, particularly in the southwest of Nigeria, as Democracy Day in honor of the struggle and sacrifices made for democracy. In 2018, President Muhammadu Buhari officially recognized June 12th as Nigeria's Democracy Day, replacing the previous date of May 29th. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in setting this stage, let us remember that the struggle for democracy is an ongoing journey, one that requires our active participation and vigilance. As we celebrate this is for us, we're not in vain. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I so submit. And while I was preparing this speech, you might wonder to ask, was this young man born during this time? The answer is no, but research is very important, and this history has to be passed down to our children. Please, a round of applause for our fathers of democracy. Permit me at this time to continue the recognition as we have in our midst the representative of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Otumba Mike Musa, MON. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We also have in the auditorium the son of the figure we look at when we talk about democracy, the son of late Chief MKO Abiola and Alhaja Kudirat Abiola. We have Alhaji Abdul Mumi Abiola in the house. Thank you. We also have the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Youth Development, Dr. Ahmad Umar Danuba. Please, you're welcome. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to bore you with long talks. Permit me at this time to invite to the podium the Honorable Minister of Youth Development to give us the welcome address. At this time, please put your hands together for Dr. Jamila Bio Ibrahim.
Good evening, the representative of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, His Excellency, Distinguished Senator George Akume, ably represented by Otumba Mike Nswan, MON, and the members of the House of Representatives, Honorable David and Honorable Usman Banye, and Honorable Uche Okonkwo, Honorable Ala Akala Olamiju, Honorable Mukhtar Shagaya, my brother, Honorable Sesi. Pardon me if I'm unable to pronounce the names properly, but I will give them a shot. Honorable Sesi Wemengen, and Honorable Rotimi Jacob, Honorable Lamir Omar. By association, House of Reps by association. I thank you all very much for coming, and I would also like to recognize the National Youth Leader of the All Progressives Congress, my brother, Honorable Daya Israel Abdullahi, and the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Youth Development, Dr. Umar Ahmed Dunoma, and the directors here present from the Federal Ministry of Youth Development, Mr. Samuel Oluwaseun Martins, the guest speaker, and I would also like to recognize especially Alhaji Abdulmumin Abiola, who is the son of the late Chief MK Abiola, the icon of June 12th, and the struggle of the struggle for Nigeria's democracy. Also, the son of Alhaja Kudirat Abiola, both of blessed memories. I would like to indulge us to please rise and say and observe a moment of silence for the souls of all our beloved ones who have departed in the struggle for Nigeria's democracy. May their souls rest in peace. And the zonal youth leader of the South-South, the deputy national youth leader, my brother, Mr. Jalaluddin Kabir, and the zonal youth leader of South-South, Comrade Ebimobowe Oyas, and the Delta State youth leader, Napoleon Kenerekedi, and Dr. Jason Baba Kware, zonal youth leader of Northeast. Honorable Mohammed Mohammed, Kogi State APC youth leader, and Honorable Lawal Suleiman Duduyami, my own youth leader, the youth leader of Kwara State APC. Well, Comrade Mohammed Abbas Isa as well, the SSA to the President on persons with special needs. I thank you for coming, and other persons who I haven't recognized, pardon me, because you're all too important, and I do not want to keep us waiting. I do not want to spend the entire night, reading out protocols. So I'll just go straight to my speech. And I thank Mr. Kelvin for setting the stage for the night and giving us a very great, memorable walk down the history of Nigeria's democracy. Thank you very much. So I wouldn't want to bore us to go into that. I'm just here to give a goodwill remark. So as we celebrate Democracy Day, a day that marks 25 years of uninterrupted democracy in our country, we also celebrate and mark the dawn of a new era for Nigerian youth. This day marks a significant milestone in our nation's history, a testament to our enduring spirit and collective resolve to build a democratic society for all. With great pride and a deep sense of responsibility, I stand before you as we embark on a transformative journey to empower our youth and redefine the future of our beloved nation, Nigeria. Fellow young Nigerians, this is not just another speech. It is a declaration of hope and a testament to the fact that it is a new era for Nigeria's young people. Under the visionary leadership of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, our administration is committed to ensuring that young Nigerians take the reins of our country's political, economic, and socio-cultural spheres. This commitment is not just in words, as it has been in times past, but in meticulously thought through and diligently executed plans. We're not merely creating opportunities for every young Nigerian. We're preparing, equipping, and empowering you to seize these opportunities. Today, I issue a clarion call to Nigerian youth, to all Nigerian youth. Partner with us, join hands with us, with the Ministry of Youth Development and the government, and take the lead in our nation's quest to become a $1 trillion economy. Let us stop celebrating young people achieving in diverse sectors as an anomaly. We must normalize it. Instead, let's make it the norm and start celebrating older people's achievements as the exception. Over the past year, we have made significant strides, and I am excited to share our ongoing and upcoming initiatives. So 25 years gone down the lane in democracy, in Nigeria's democracy. So the next couple of years to come, this administration is setting the tone for transformation when it comes to young people taking the reins of leadership in this country. So the first of our upcoming and ongoing initiatives is the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund, which has recently been restructured and will commence. It calls for entries by June 30th, 2024. We have streamlined the process to ensure more young entrepreneurs can access the funds they need to be innovative and to be creators of employment. The second will be the National Youth Skills Program. This program will kick off by July 30th, 2024. The NYSP aims to train over 1 million young Nigerians, providing them with the skills needed to thrive in today's economy. The reforms of the NYSC. The implementation of the NYSC reforms will begin by July 30th, 2024. These reforms will integrate skills development and entrepreneurship into the youth service year, making it more impactful and economically beneficial for our graduates and the nation at large. The Youth Development Bank will be launched by August 30th, 2024. This bank will provide tailored financial services to youth-led ventures, supporting innovative ideas and business growth. The Young Leaders Institute will be launched by August 30th, 2024. This institute will nurture the next generation of leaders, the next generation of Nigerian leaders with skills, knowledge, and the network needed to excel. The sixth will be, I'm glad that the hall is full of young legislators. We will be calling on you soon and soliciting your support as the next set of legislative actions will be taken, and we'll be needing your support 100% through the entire process. So by August 30th, 2024, we will be sending bills to the National Assembly to institutionalize the 30% youth quota that has been approved by the Federal Executive Council to ensure that young people have a seat, more seats. We create more seats for young people at decision-making tables. So at the federal, the local government, and the subnational, that is the state level, we want to institutionalize a minimum of 30% youth quota for youth involvement in governance with an equitable young women inclusion. The second bill will be to restructure the Center for the Citizenship and Leadership Training Center, the CLTC, and establish the National Youth Fund by institutionalizing it as well. The Youth Investment Fund was an initiative of the past administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, and on our assumption in office, we embarked on a review of the fund, and recommendations came in that the fund needs to be restructured. And we also thought that there's no need to reinvent the wheel since government is a continuum, and well, we don't have time to reinvent the wheel, and young people cannot wait to be impacted by government. So in a bid to ensure sustainability, the fund has been restructured to be more impactful. The obligor limits of the fund has been increased, and to align with the current economic demands of the high cost of living. And the fund is restructured, and we will soon start to access the funds. Hopefully by the 30th of June, we'll call for applications. So the NYIF will be institutionalized, and will establish the National Youth Fund through an act of parliament in order to consolidate the Youth Investment Fund. These legislative actions will solidify our commitment to youth empowerment and ensure sustainable development. In conclusion, our journey towards a more prosperous and inclusive nation is well underway. As we celebrate this Democracy Day, let us embrace the renewed hope and excitement that comes with it. The future of Nigeria is in your hands, and together we will build a nation where the achievements of young people are the norm and not the exception. Let us move forward confidently, knowing that our plans are strategic, our implementation is diligent, and our commitment to empowering the youth is unwavering. I thank you very much for listening.
I believe we can do much more better for the Honorable Minister. Thank you very much. You all agree with me that the Honorable Minister is soft-spoken, but filled with so many promises and achievements. Please, once again, celebrate the Honorable Minister of Youth Development. And while the Honorable Minister was giving her welcome address, one of the icons of democracy, one of the gladiators, and one of the pillars of Nigerian democracy stepped into the building. Please, can we give a rousing ovation for Babagana Kingibe, JCON. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You may please be seated. Thank you very much, sir. I was a young man growing up, and when I heard the catchy SDP, Abiola, Kingi Bay's chant, and looking at you physically, you've done so well for Nigeria, and we are grateful for men like you. Thank you very much. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're moving to the next item on the agenda, which is the goodwill message. And to kick off the first goodwill message of tonight is no other person than the National Youth Leader of the All Progressive Congress, Honorable Dayo Israel. Please a round of applause for him as he comes off stage.
Your Excellency, my sister, the Honorable Minister for Youth Development of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, please help me give her a big round of applause. Let me use the word, Your Excellency, His Excellency, a former Minister of Foreign Affairs, our father, an icon of June 12. I remember the first time I ever met him. I believe it was in New York at the World of Astoria Hotel. I think it was around the end of the Obasanjo government in 2006. We had the Nigeria Meets the World event organized by Nduka Obiagbeno the D's Day, and everybody that mattered in Nigeria was there. His Excellency Alhaji Baba Gana Kingigwe, let me use the word, the former Vice President-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, ably represented my brother, the Otumba. Permit me, Honorable Minister, because the time we have given me is very short, to stand on existing protocol, of course recognizing my deputy and zonal and state youth leaders here present and youth stakeholders. I think that this is the most important event in the celebration of Democracy Day in Nigeria this year, because the theme of this celebration, Honorable Minister, is Nigeria's democracy, the future. And you cannot talk about the future without talking about the people who own the future. I'm sorry, the people that own the future were not the ones at the banquet hall of Aso Villa this morning. With all due respect to Your Excellency, the people that own the future are those in the Ladi Kwali Hall here tonight. They are the young men and women of our great country who serve diligently in the legislature, like my brothers from the National Assembly. They are those who have used their innovation, intellect to solve problems and are creative in art, in tech, in various sectors, in entertainment, in music, in data, artificial intelligence, in agriculture. Young men and women, brave, who have refused to let Nigeria happen to them, but that they have happened positively to Nigeria. We're writing our story in Hollywood, in Bollywood, in Nollywood, and are blazing the trail, have taken over Netflix, are always on the top 10 film on Netflix of the week. You're always finding a Nigerian story. We are the lushness of this green land. And you know, I think that is why the Honorable Minister is wearing green today, because it signifies the lushness that we represent, we, the youth of Nigeria. And so I want to thank the SGF and of course the Ministry of Youth for putting this event together. I know that if we had been allowed, the whole of Sheraton cannot contain our energy, cannot contain our creativity, cannot contain our representation, but we will manage what you have done for us this year. Next year, we want to fill Abuja Stadium. And so, Honorable Minister, Your Excellency, our former Vice President-elect, if I may say before I sit down, that the future of our democratization is in our hands. And so the leaders of today must be conscious of the attention they pay to our generation. It is important to note that the young people of Africa, in particular Nigeria, which is the largest population in Africa, are ripe and ready for leadership. However, we have to ensure that the only route to leadership on our continent is not by guns. If you look at the issues going on from Congo to Burkina Faso to Niger, young people on the continent are becoming restless and are rising to take political leadership or military leadership on the continent by the ways of guns. Here, many people in parliament under the age of 45, this is preparing us for national leadership, but we can do more. And so as I step down to sit here, I want all of us to ponder and think, what role do I have to ensure that the Nigeria of 2050 is better than the Nigeria of today? And what Nigeria do I, as a young person, want to bequeath to my own sons? And so we have a duty to work for Nigeria today and tomorrow, not just for us, but our children that are coming behind us. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, SGF. God bless you.
I believe you can make the applause a bit louder. Thank you. There's always something about when the youth speaks, and we can believe that Honorable Dio is indeed doing justice to that. Please, a round of applause for him once again. Thank you very much. Still progressing on a good message. We've just tweaked it a bit. Coming up next is the representative spokesman of the House of Representatives. Please put your hands together for Representative Akin Rotimi Jr. Please, a round of applause for him. A round of applause for him. You can make it louder.
Thank you very much. Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please will allow me to first of all recognize and appreciate the presence of the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, and I don't know if I should say former because, but he's a substantive former Vice President-elect, if you can say that. And I'm very happy that Dio Israel did mention that. It's a valid point in history that he was our Vice President-elect at a point in time. And before I go ahead, I think we should also put our hands together for former President Muhammadu Buhari. Please put your hands together for him. And the reason I said so is that he corrected a historical injustice by ensuring that June 12 was fittingly recognized as Democracy Day, because without June 12, there can be no May 29. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd also like to recognize the presence of honorable colleagues from the House of Representatives. Please put your hands together for yourselves. The chairman of the Youth Caucus, I'm sure is here shortly, Honorable Olamijuwonlo Alawa Kala. I believe that the presence of as many honorable members that you see today underscores the fact that the House of Representatives, the 10th Assembly, prioritizes engagement. It's not as though we don't have anything to do. We prioritize engagement with the public, open National Assembly to ensure that we're accessible to our people. So I bring you greetings, and of course, the Honorable Minister of Youth, Dr. Jamila Ibrahim Bio, I greet you very specially. Thank you for those remarks. The representative of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, you're welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us. The Permanent Secretary, you're welcome, sir. And then my own national youth leader, Dio Israel, I greet you very, very specially. I bring you very warm greetings from the 10th Assembly National House of Representatives. This is a very, very intentional house about public engagement. For us, just like the Honorable Minister had said, we are welcome to receiving bills and motions that advance the interests of the youth, because we believe that anything without the youth, about the youth, doesn't stand. Youth must be at the table and must be in the rooms where these things are decided. And that's why we have an unprecedented amount of young people in the youth caucus that we've ever had before. And our hope is that even in future assemblies, we'll have more people that are young people also make it to Parliament by the grace of God. I'll just read a few remarks very quickly. Distinguished guests, dear young leaders and fellow citizens, today we gather to celebrate Democracy Day, a day that honors the enduring spirit of freedom and the resilient voice of the people. It is a day that reminds us of the power we hold in shaping our nation's destiny through democratic principles. As we reflect on our journey, it is important to recognize the vital role that the youth play in the continuous evolution of our democracy. You are not just the leaders of tomorrow, you are the change makers of today. Your energy, innovation, and commitment to justice and equality are the driving forces that will propel our nation forward. On this special occasion, let us recommit ourselves to the ideals of democracy, transparency, accountability, and the protection of human rights. Let us embrace the responsibility of active citizenship where every voice is heard and every individual is empowered to contribute to the common good. Remember, democracy is not a destination but a journey that requires our constant vigilance and participation. As we celebrate this day, I encourage you to stay engaged, informed, and proactive. Continue to question, challenge, and strive for a Nigeria that reflects our highest aspirations. Together, we can build a brighter, more inclusive future. Happy Democracy Day, and may our collective efforts lead to lasting progress and prosperity for our beloved nation. Before I go to my seat, I think it's just important that I mention for young people, the MC mentioned the other time that he wasn't born when June 12. It makes people like myself feel old. I wasn't old enough to vote, but at least I remember it was a very historic day in our history. And even those of us that were really young then, we ran around and we were so excited about the fact that you could have all Nigerians, rallied around a common cause. And I thank God that someone that also similarly embodies the values and aspirations of the late MKO Abiola in the person of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, His Excellency, is at this point in time in our history, President. Someone that understands where we're coming from. Please put your hands together for him. For many of us, we can despair and, want to always sound so, what's the word? As though everything is just so bad. For those of us that have at least, we grew up during military era. We grew up listening to martial music when, you hear of one military coup or the other. We grew up, in that era. I must encourage you. We are not where we are yet, but we are also not where we are coming from. We have covered a lot of grounds, even though we have a lot of grounds to cover. Don't let us take for granted the milestones we've achieved. In this republic, we've achieved 6 electoral cycles. And for every one of them, there was that doomsday prediction that this was the one that was going to split Nigeria. One of the hallmarks we also achieved is an alternation of power. Not many countries, democracies, have achieved that. We achieved an alternation of power from one political party to the other, and seamlessly we're still standing. All the difficult decisions that this administration has had to take, that it seems as though things are a little difficult now, I want to encourage you that things would indeed get better. As a country, we've made difficult decisions, but things would get better by the grace of God. I especially greet, as I go to my seat, Ambassador Babagana Kingibe. I greet you very specially. He used to be my father's very good friend. When then it used to be called the presidency, the cabinet office. My father was my predecessor in office. He was in the Second Republic House of Representatives, and he was close friends with you. So I'm happy to reconnect with you tonight, and I look forward to the engaging hand-holding that people like himself can offer to our generation. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Please, a round of applause once again for Honorable Akin Rotimi Jr. Thank you very much. I had no intentions of making you feel old when I said that. You're still a young man. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, still moving in the good way message, permit me at this time to pass the microphone to the son of the icon whom we've come to know Democracy Day to be as. Please put your hands together for Alhaji Abdul Mumuni Abiola. Please a round of applause for him. Please a round of applause for him. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Honorable Minister Dr. Jamila Ibrahim, I greet you specially for this event. It's about youth, and if you can see, I don't have any hair, so I'm just as young as you are. What am I going to say? I have a speech, but I think some of our previous representatives have actually spoken about what I was going to say. So what I'm just going to talk about is something I remember from the June 12 time. You know, it was a very difficult time for me because I was kind of young and I didn't really understand what was going on, but I knew that my father was trying to make a difference. You know, he had tried in '83 and they had said to my father at the time that the ticket is not for sale. I didn't think my father was going to buy it, but they said the ticket was not for sale. And in '93, when he decided to run again, I know that he understood something that, you know, Nigeria was a special place to my father. You know, he always said that he was poor when he was born. He was very poor, actually. He was the 24th of his family that everyone before him had died. So they didn't even give him a name. They named him Kashimawo. And they waited until he was about 6 years old before they named him Moshood. So this man would get up in the morning. He said he had to sell wood. And when he sold the wood, he would make enough money to get to school. And he went to school and he told us the stories of him being in school with General Obasanjo. And that he will come to school with just one new leaflet of books. And Obasanjo had a big bag full of books, but that he knew more than the general. I don't know if that is true. That's what I was told. What else I can say is that my father really believed in Nigeria. And I think we need to start to believe in Nigeria. You know, my father said something. He said, you can't shave my head in my absence. So he understood that, you know, the way we're going by the Nigerian project is like we're doing the same thing over and over again, looking for different results. This is not the way forward. I want to say thank you again to Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I swear, he is my other father. You know, I lost both my parents to this struggle, but I gained way much more. And that's what I wanted to get across. You know, people ask me, they say, oh, Abdul, after 25 years, is this the democracy they died for? And I think the honorable member said, democracy is not a destination, it's a journey. We are still going to get there. My vice president, the one vice president that I know, is sitting here right now. Sir, I greet you. And on behalf of everybody in the Abiola family, for what you've been able to do thus far, I'm going to do something. This is a traditional thing that we do in our own place. You might not understand, but those that are Yorubas can explain. Baba. Thank you. Like I said, you know, Abiola was Nigeria first. He wasn't Yoruba. He probably was Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa all together. And that what makes Nigeria. And don't forget, it's not only Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. There are more tribes that we need to include. So democracy is about inclusion. How do we include everybody in this project called Nigeria? Once we all can understand where we're going, it will be easier for us to get there. Thank you so much for this event and for all the other events slated. I pray that Allah will give us that strength and that fortitude to continue as we're moving. I believe that our better days are ahead of us, and at the rate we're going, and with our young ministers that I'm seeing now, I can see my own reflection in the mirror. This is only a good thing. Thank you so much again, and God bless you all.
I believe we can make the applause a bit louder. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Permit me to recognize the presence of Comrade Akoshile Mukhtar, the Regional Coordinator, Afro-Arab Youth Council, and the Vice President, North Central National Youth Council of Nigeria. Thank you for coming. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe that in my wildest dream, I would receive the microphone from the son of the President-elect of Nigeria. Please, a round of applause for Alhaji Abdul. Thank you very much for that powerful speech. Moving on, we'll take the representative of Senator Kadibo that is here tonight. Please put your hands together for Mr. Buffy Okeke Ojudu. Please, a round of applause for him.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, Your Excellency, Honorable Minister, Your Excellency, the former Vice President-elect, all leaders, regional leaders, national leaders present. I greet you all. I'll be representing Senator Marjorie Okadibo, who regrettably was out of the country at this occasion. 25 years of democracy. That's not a very long time, but in that time, we've achieved quite a bit. In particular, the youth of Nigeria. So today, we stand at a pivotal moment in our nation's history. A time where integration and empowerment of the youth are not mere options, but imperatives for our nation's success. The youth represent the heartbeat of our country, possessing boundless energy, enthusiasm, and creativity. We can see this in a series of sectors. In the startup sector, for example, in a 6-7 year period, startups led by young people attracted, I believe, over $2 billion into Nigeria. Some of those companies in a very short window achieving valuations of over $1 billion, most of them solving pertinent challenges of our nation. In the process, a lot of them empowered and created jobs for not just many young Nigerians, but Africans in general. We see the same thing in the impact investment space, where in a single year, companies, startups raised over $4 billion, most championed by young people as well. And a lot of the other speakers before me have mentioned our entertainment industry. That one goes without saying. You go from airports, international airports, to boutiques across the world, and you can hear young Nigerians telling our story boldly, with ginger and confidence. In a way, they have become our ambassadors as well. So, it is therefore incumbent upon all of us, citizenry and leadership alike, that we recognize the immense value that young people present and what they bring to the table, and empower and provide the enabling environment to allow them play their part in the national building, nation building. Reintegrating Nigerian youth into our systems and into the fabric of society and leadership is not just a moral obligation, but it is an investment in our collective future. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you very much. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please once again a round of applause for the representative of Senator Okadibo. Thank you, Mr. Buffy. At this time, permit me to invite to the microphone. And I believe at this time we can give him a standing ovation as he comes forward. One of Nigeria's Vice President-elect, a man who in his back carries the scars of our democracy, a man who even in his face carries the scars of democracy. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may we please rise as we make welcome to the podium for his goodwill remark. Ambassador Babagana Kingibe, GCON.
Honorable Minister, given the nature of this occasion, I would say the national youth leader, honorable legislators here present, distinguished youth, all of you, good evening. Some people might wonder why I'm here. Me, I know why I'm here. I'm here not because I'm ex this and that, or that I've done this and that. I'm here with the greatest of pleasure imaginable, as perhaps the oldest youth in this room tonight. The cliche goes that age is not a biological question, it's a matter of how you feel. Quite frankly, I've never grown old. I am 78 years old, but since I crossed the 40-year-old bracket, I never felt that I've gone beyond 5 years since. Frankly, I think young, I behave young, and we thank God, physically, I act young. This is not to flatter you, it's a fact. I don't know, just by show of hands, how many of you were 10 years or older in 1993? Hands up, just show of hands. Oh, I can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, right. Now that gives us an idea of the demographic we are dealing with. There was a time during this republic, I think, when the question of who succeeded Obasanjo as president was being discussed. Some intellectuals, progressives within the PDP, decided that nobody younger than 50 should be president of Nigeria again. And of course, nobody who was younger than 50 succeeded President Obasanjo. But as time went on, they redefined the minimum age to now 55, because they reached that age. You know, we have to really define first what is youth. I can see a representation of youth here tonight, but really for operational purposes, we need clearly to define what is young, what is youth. Is it a function of age? Is it a function of vocation, of responsibilities? Is it a function of mindset? What is youth? I have given an idea of that in terms of myself. In a way, it's a function of how you feel. But also the reality is that it is age-related. It's a demographic concept. And we who are older youth are wont to say that in my time, sometimes is appropriate. Let me give you a small narration of my own life's journey. I was born in 1945, during the colonial era. The Second World War was just ending. And I wasn't born with a silver spoon. On the contrary, actually, there wasn't any spoon in our house. But the governmental system then, anchored in my part of Nigeria on the native authority system, was a very, very egalitarian system. In fact, in my generation, you would find that those of us who went to school, who made something of our lives, are probably 75% or 80% children of the poor. Yes. Sorry? Oh, I'm so sorry. I think some people want to capture what I'm saying in their microphones. So, at a very young age, actually, when I finished what was called senior primary school, that is after 7 years of education, the Borno Native Authority instituted a scholarship scheme to send its young children abroad. It was an open-ended scholarship to go as far as you can. It wasn't just for secondary school or university. You want to do PhD, you want to do whatever. It was an open scholarship. And generally there was an assessment made then, of course, by the colonial teachers as to who were the top boys. In the field of selection, we had the Shehu, that is the Oba's children. We had his prime minister's children. We had the very, very rich people's children, and we, the masses. But I was lucky. I was selected as the only boy to proceed on that scholarship. Now, no, I'm not saying it for clapping. I'm making a point about how fairness and justice can open opportunity, even playing ground for everyone. And that was so for quite a long time, long after even independence. There was this level playing field provided to every child in the North anyway. And I believe in the South too. And the result, some effort, a lot of luck combined to make some of us leapfrog in our careers. It wasn't godfatherism. I had none. But there was level playing field. I believe I was 36 when I became a career ambassador. I was 40 when I became permanent secretary. And by 1993, this famous June 12th day that everybody's referring to, I would have been 45, 90, 45 plus 3. I was 48 when I was leading the Social Democratic Party of Nigeria. So, the first thing the youth of today must fight for is justice, fairness, equal opportunity. Because somewhere in between when I was born and perhaps when you were born and maybe even before, something went wrong. One set of generation or two probably jettisoned the idea that all are entitled to equal opportunity and started to look after their own. There was perhaps too much concentration on promoting the education, the career, and so on of their children or of their relations, rather than opening up the space for everyone. And there was one very important feature of the system of my elders: mentorship, shaping the career and trajectory of the young, whether they are their kith and kin or not, was pervasive. Mentoring was not at all available to later generations. I am sure most of you struggled by yourselves and found your way in life. But we lost this mentorship. Perhaps because we, my generation, decided to sit around for too long. We didn't know when it is time to give way. I'm very, very surprised, even now, the number of septuagenarians, near octogenarians, who are walking around with their CVs, looking for appointment, political appointments, and I just shake my head. It's time to rest. Let us imitate nature. If you look at trees, plants, you will see that by the time the tree has come to the end of its life, it had already dropped some seeds under it. And those seeds have started coming up as shoots. And the tree just falls and gives way to those shoots that are coming up. We should imitate nature. We should know when to quit the stage. Quite frankly, right now, I'm not sure that those who are older can even manage to understand the world of today. This is a fast-changing world, spinning at the speed of light and beyond. Whatever knowledge you have today, tomorrow it is stale. Technology, AI, whatever. This is the world in which we live, and the world for which we were not prepared by our education. I have some grandchildren under 10. They go to school, in fact it is a requirement of the school that they come with a laptop. These children amaze me every day. They give me great joy. I see what they can do with the laptop. One of them is going to have his birthday next week. And I asked him what would he like. He said he would like a drone. I said, drone? Yes. Describe to me what kind of drone you want. Then he took my phone, Googled something, and brought it out. And said, in fact, it was the website of Conga or something like that, one of these selling things. And he showed it to me. He said this. He said, you see, you can control it with your watch. You can control it with your phone, blah, blah, blah. He is going to turn 10. Now, how do I now compete with somebody like that. You know, of course, I have to save my dignity and pretend that I am his equal, but I know that he has gone beyond me. It's a fast-changing world. I don't know. One of the things I regret whenever I hear the youth today say is, give us the opportunity. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is famous for saying, don't wait for it, grab it, run with it. You are in a position to grab it and run with it. And fortunately, President Tinubu, I have not seen a Nigerian government that has greater proportion of youth as this one. Honorable Minister, with all due respect, you represent the youth. And you are fittingly Minister for Youth. When I hear people like Abraham, people like Abdul, people like the representative of the House of Reps and my brother there representing Mrs. Okadivo, I just wonder whether I'm even capable of standing in front of you to follow in their footsteps, because the ideas, the passion, and the energy is palpable. And they know what they are talking about. They are ready. They are ready to take over. And I know that our political system, especially our elections and people, how they present themselves for elections and so on, present hurdles, especially to young people who are struggling. In fact, for most young people, it's not making the money that is the primary motive. Is the knowledge acquisition, the self-application, the joy that you derive from what you do. I think our system should be made in such a way, and that members of the House of Reps and senators, if there's any, is something you can help do. In reviewing the Constitution, make it easy. Make it easy for brilliant people, brilliant young people who can do to present themselves to elections and go and make laws for us. As I said, President Bola Tinubu has provided an equitable space for our youth to shine, and they are shining. They are shining. Of course, as in any human organization, some falter. Don't emphasize on those who falter. Those who are there, who are performing, who are making us proud. They are those who count, and they are the ones who will move forward. I think the guest speaker, Mr. Martins, would be speaking to preparing the youth for participation in our future government. I look forward to listening to his ideas, and please pay attention to what ideas he may throw out. But we have to prepare. We have to prepare the ground and the system in such a way that you can breathe. Of course, part of the problem of what happened in Nigeria is this huge population explosion. Please, those of you who are of this age, do not neglect the millions who are behind you. I feel sad when I go through towns and villages to see the number of children, 8, 10, 12, roaming around in the street. Millions. They are not going to school. They are soon going to grow up. And in a way, they are already streetwise in the wrong direction. Streetwise in doing the wrong things. When you acquire power, and you must, and inshallah you will, please provide for them, think of them, because this is a time bomb. It's a problem you will deal with, not we. You will deal with. You have to think ahead of time before the problem hits you. I think by the question I asked, how many of you were 10 years or so by 1993, tells me that you are all children of democracy. You more or less know democracy and no other system, most of you. And despite its challenges, democracy is never, never easy. It's a system that allows for free flow of ideas and exchange and so on, hopefully conducted in a very civil and polite manner. And before you aggregate these ideas into a policy platform and so on, it takes time. You cannot just wish an overnight program in any direction. And I'm sure that many who do not have the experience of military rule will probably say, let the military come. I've worked in a military government. I've worked in a civilian government. Believe you me, we all have to do our level best to protect this democracy, to make it grow, to make it mature, and to make it deliver. There is no better system. I'm glad that this hall is filled with representation from almost all parts of Nigeria. One of the things pulling us back is this lack of national cohesion. This thing ingrained in us by older politicians, that if you are from A place, all those from B place are not your people. They are your enemies and things. I think those of you who are growing up and who have reached that age that you have been exposed. You have met people from other places in your schools, in your universities, at work, and you know that we all are the same, we all are one, we have the same common destiny. And I think once we begin to treat each other as brothers and sisters, a people occupying this geographical space called Nigeria, then we will get to the point when we can say, let us now think of our present, our future, and our children's future. As I said earlier on, we are wont, my generation, to say in my time, in our time. I've spoken a lot about our time and my time. What is interesting for me would be to hear from those of you who are living your time, and that time is now. I do not, and don't ever allow any older person to patronize you by saying, oh, you are the leaders of tomorrow. As Abraham said, you are the leaders of now. There is nothing that stops you. Believe in yourselves, strive and strive. And when you see older people, the Hausas have a saying that the best medicine is made from the oldest honey. Yes, some of the elders, have your interests at heart. President Tinubu is not a young man, but he has behaved as if he's one of you who got into office. He has looked out for you. He has looked out for your interests. He has given you representation. And he has digitalized governance, not analog. Many people do not understand, perhaps, some of the ideas he has and the direction he's going, because we are measuring it from the standards of old. But if you look ahead, that's the destination he is in a hurry to get to. And by the grace of God, we'll all get there and we'll all be happier for it. So when you see an elder doing something helpful, rally around him, support him, help him, and you will be surprised how much sooner we'll get there than if we try to pull at the agbada when the old man is trying to run. I'm sorry, it's not a mea culpa, but I didn't know I was going to be here tonight. It was the Honorable Minister who told me. I think late last night you sent a text, and then this morning you said, oh, there's this event. I wasn't aware, but I couldn't have missed it for the world. I'm happy to be here. I already feel rejuvenated. I'm sure you've been here since late afternoon. I don't want to keep you further. Have a great evening, and I look forward to hearing the rich ideas that you all have. Thank you.
I believe we can make the applause louder. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. All right, thank you. We'll just have a little tweak in our program. We'll have the cultural display. I believe we've had a lot of conversations going on. Before the representative of the SGF will come up, we'll have an interlude, a dance interlude, and this is going to be done by the cultural team, who is going to be here on display, after which we'll continue in the order of the program, just to create a balance. So,
Jamila ló ní kí gbogbo yóò wọ́n sì kí gbogbo. Jamila ló ní kí gbogbo yóò wọ́n sì kí gbogbo. Ayọ̀délé ló ní kí gbogbo yóò ló jẹ́ wípé bàbá dòde bàbá ṣeré Jamila màmá wa ni yóò bá wa wí ẹ sọ pé bàbá dòde bàbá ṣeré Jamila màmá wa ni yóò bá wa wí bàbá dòde báwa ò bá ṣeré o Ayọ̀délé màmá wa ni yóò bá wa wí ẹ sọ pé. Àyàn farabalẹ̀ kó mọ gbóhùn ẹnu mi. Ìbálòdé tòní o. Lónìí mo rí bá mo rí ìbà fọlọ́run ọba. Ìbà lọ́kùnrin, ìbà lóbìnrin, ìbà lọ́mọdé, ìbà lágbàlagbà, ìbà dúdú, ìbà pupa, ìbà yèyé, ìbà bàbá, ìbà wọn kìíní ọ̀hún tó torí sọ̀dọ̀ bí ó somi. màmá wa Jàmílà ooo wọ́n ròyìn ipa ribiribi tẹ́ ẹ kó ní Kwara àti Àgàgà nílọrin Ìlọrin Àfọ̀njá inú dùn jùyọ̀ ìlú tóbi tó yẹn wọn ò léegun rárá ẹ̀sìn léegun lé bàbá tó bí ọlọ́mọ ọmọ ajífi kálámù dámọ́lẹ́kùn àìríṣe kándúkándú àwa lọmọ òpó múlẹ́rọ̀ mọ́jà lẹ́kàn òpó rọ́sọ òpó gbàjà òpó ògbọ̀rọ̀ wọn ní àtibọ̀nà iná ògbọ̀rọ̀ wọn ní àfifómi omi ògbọ̀rọ̀ wọn ní àfifọ́tí tó lè fáfọ́n ẹ̀já o. màmá mi Jàmílà àti ṣèyí àtúnṣe mi ìsì àsọdúnmọ́dún ní ìsàwọ̀ àsọdúnmọ́dún àsosùmọ́sù ní ìsàwọ̀ àsosùmọ́sù wo ọdọọdún là ń rórógbó ọdọọdún là ń róbì ọdọọdún là ń rọ́mọ àwùsá lórí àtẹ ọdọọdún là mọ̀ ríra wa. Ayọ̀délé o wọ́n wà bá yín délé bàbá àti yín gangan ni ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ Oǹdó ẹ̀kí Adéyínjájá Ògún ní wí National Troop àmọ̀ tún ti gbára tuntun òde.
Come on, put your hands together for the